The security alarm isn't even ringing. Still, Maya feels a weight of eyes snapping toward her as Officer Trent Mallory steps into the mall atrium, boots heavy, hand hovering near his belt, posture sharp with suspicion. She was only adjusting the strap of her tote bag. But the moment he saw her, his expression hardened like she committed a crime in silence. "Ma'am," he calls, voice slicing through the ambient music. "I'm gonna need to check your bag." "Now!" Heads turn. A mother pulls her son closer. Two teens pause mid-laugh. Maya's throat tightens, but she keeps her voice steady. "I didn't steal anything." Trent smirks, already closing the distance. "People like you always say that." The words hit harder than the echo of his boots. Maya feels heat behind her eyes, fury curling with disbelief. She isn't dressed like a suspect. Navy blazer, polished flats, a delicate gold pendant. She looks like the entrepreneur she is. But none of that matters to him. "I'm not repeating myself." Trent snaps, reaching for her tote. "Open the bag." Maya lifts her chin. "You're profiling me." A hush spreads, curiosity spreading like wildfire. He leans in, voice low with an ugly certainty. "If you had nothing to hide, you'd obey." Maya's pulse hammers. She slowly unzips the bag, aware of how the crowd leans forward. Then something inside the bag catches Trent's eye and his face falters. Just for a second, but enough to shift the air, enough to begin his downfall, and enough to freeze Maya in the moment before everything changes. Maya only stopped for a moment, to adjust the strap of her tote bag, to shift the weight from one shoulder to the other. She didn't expect the pause to become the spark for something far uglier. "Hey!" A voice barked across the polished floor. She turned, startled. Officer Trent Mallory strode toward her, jaw tight, eyes narrowed like he'd been hunting for a target and finally found one. "You," he said, pointing. "Step over here." Maya blinked. "Is something wrong?" "Don't play innocent." His boot struck the tiles with a heavy rhythm. "You match the description of a shoplifter who just walked out of the boutique." "I haven't even been in that store," she replied, trying to keep her tone even. "Yeah," he snorted. "That's what they all say." A few shoppers slowed. Eyes tracked her. Whispering rose like static. Maya felt a slow, hot flush creep up her neck. "Sir," she said, "I'm just here to pick up." "I don't care why you're here," Trent cut in. "Hand me your bag." "No." The word slipped out before she could think. "Not unless you have a reason." "I gave you a reason." He stepped closer, invading her space. "Now, hand it over." She tightened her grip on the tote. "You're profiling me." A woman near the fountain sucked in a breath. Two teens quietly started recording on their phones. Trent's lips curled. "Profiling? Lady, you're lucky I'm even being patient." "Patient?" Maya repeated, incredulous. "You approached me without cause." "I have cause," he snapped. "What cause?" "You look nervous." "I wasn't nervous until you came at me shouting." "See." He gestured broadly to the crowd. "She's being hostile." Maya's heart thudded, but she held her ground. "I'm not hostile. I'm asking you to respect my rights." "Your rights don't matter when you're resisting investigation. That's not how it works." He took another step, close enough that she could smell the mint gum he was chewing. "Ma'am, this is your last chance. Either hand over the bag willingly, or I'll escort you to the security office where we can do this properly." "Properly," she echoed, her voice shaking. "By detaining an innocent woman?" "By doing my job," he growled. A store manager from a kiosk approached carefully. "Officer Mallory? Is everything okay?" She didn't come from the boutique. Trent didn't even glance at the woman. "Stay out of this." "But I just saw." "I set out." The manager flinched and retreated. Maya felt something inside her tighten painfully. "Stop," Maya said quietly. "You're humiliating me." He scoffed. "If you didn't want attention, you shouldn't have acted suspicious." "I adjusted my bag," she said, each word clipped. "That was all." "Then you won't mind proving you didn't steal anything." "I mind being mistreated." He leaned in, whispering just loud enough for the bystanders to hear. "People who are clean don't argue this much." Her breath caught. "You don't know anything about me." "I know enough." No, she said firmly. You don't. For a moment, their eyes locked, hers trembling with a mix of fury and fear, his blazing with stubborn certainty. Then Trent pulled his radio from his belt. Dispatch, this is Mallory. I've got a suspicious female resisting inspection, requesting backup. Maya's chest constricted. Backup? For what? For you refusing lawful orders. This is not lawful, Maya insisted. And you know it. He grabbed her arm, not violently, but firmly enough that the crowd gasped. Let go, she said, trying to pull back. You're hurting me. You're coming with me, he said, tugging her toward the hallway. No, she whispered, voice cracking. Yes. A teenager shouted. Hey, she didn't do anything, but Trent ignored him. Maya stumbled, catching herself before falling. Her tote slipped slightly. She clutched it closer. Stop resisting. Trent barked. I'm not resisting, she said through clenched teeth. I'm trying to walk. Then move. Humiliation pressed on her chest like a weight made of concrete. She could feel dozens of eyes burning into her, judging, pitying, condemning, recording. Please, Maya tried again. This is a mistake. It's only a mistake if you stole something, he said. Her throat tightened. I didn't steal. Then prove it. I don't have to prove something I didn't do. He smirked. That's what guilty people say. Her pulse hammered painfully. She felt trapped, caught between defending herself and ensuring her safety. If she said too much, he'd twist it. If she stayed silent, he'd claim noncompliance. Officer Mallory, she said, her voice trembling. You're crossing a line. I'll decide that. They reached the entrance to the back hallway, dim, quiet, isolated from the bright open atrium. Maya's stomach knotted. He shoved the door open. After you. I'm not going in there. Yes, you are. No, her voice rose. Not without probable cause. I am the cause. The word struck like a blow, and Maya felt the world tilt. Please, she said again, softer. Don't do this. You should have thought of that before stealing. I didn't steal. He tightened his grip on her arm. Enough. Move. And as he dragged her into shadowed corridor, Maya realized crowd's eyes were gone. She was alone with him now, and he held all the power. The moment the heavy door shut behind them, the mall's warm hum vanished. The back corridor felt colder, its fluorescent lights buzzing overhead like impatient insects. The air smelled faintly of cleaning fluid and old cardboard. Maya's pulse thudded in her ears as she tried to steady her breathing. Keep walking, Trent ordered, pushing her forward with a hand still clamped around her arm. I can walk without you grabbing me, she said through clenched teeth. Then do it. She took a slow step, then another. The corridor stretched long and empty, lined with supply doors and security panels. Each footstep echoed, magnifying her isolation. Officer Mallory, Maya said carefully, you need to let go of my arm. No, you're being excessive. I'm being cautious. Cautious, she repeated. You dragged me away from a crowd because I adjusted my bag. You were acting nervous. I was adjusting my bag. Same difference. Maya exhaled sharply. No, it isn't. He stopped abruptly, forcing her to turn toward him. Drop the attitude, he said, and maybe this will go easier. What exactly is this supposed to be? Questioning. For what crime? For suspicion of theft. You made that up. I made an observation. You made a decision before you looked at any facts, she corrected. His jaw tightened. Don't try to lecture me. I'm trying to stop you from making this worse. How polite, he said dryly. But it won't help you. Footsteps approached from behind them. Two mall security guards hurried down the hallway, their expressions tense. Officer Mallory? One of them called. We heard your radio call. Trent straightened, puffing his chest. Everything's under control. The second guard frowned. We got a report you detained a woman in the atrium. Correct. What exactly happened? The first guard asked. Possible shoplifting. Trent said. She resisted inspection. I'm escorting her to the security office. The guards exchanged a glance, uncertain, uncomfortable. "Sir," Maya said, addressing him instead, "I didn't steal anything. He never saw me near the store he mentioned." "Ma'am," the taller guard said gently, "we're just trying to understand." "No need." Trent cut him off. "I've got this." "But," the shorter guard began. "I said I've got this." Trent snapped. "Go back to your posts." The guards froze, caught between authority and instinct. Then, reluctantly, they stepped back. "Officer," the tall one said carefully, "just be sure this is necessary." Trent glared. "I don't need your advice." The guards retreated slowly, worry in their eyes. When they were out of sight, Maya faced Trent again. "They don't agree with what you're doing. They don't know what I know." "And what exactly do you think you know?" "That you're lying." "That's not knowledge," she said. "That's bias." He took a threatening step toward her. "Watch it." "Why?" Maya said, the tremor in her voice now sharpened into frustration. "Because I'm telling the truth? Because I'm losing patience." "You think I care about your patience? You've humiliated me in front of dozens of people. You dragged me down a hallway with no proof of anything. You matched the description." "What description?" "You never gave one." "A black woman carrying a large bag." The words hit her like a slap. Her voice turned quiet, almost too calm. "That's not a description. That's a broad stereotype. It fits. It fits half the women shopping here. But you were acting suspicious." "I was existing," she said. "And that was enough for you." He didn't reply. He couldn't, not honestly. "Let me go," Maya said. "Now." "No," he said, gripping her arm tighter. "We're almost at the security office. You're going to empty your bag. You're going to answer my questions. And when I'm satisfied, maybe I'll let you walk out without charges." "You have no charges to file," she shot back. "We'll see." "You're making a mistake." He scoffed. "I doubt that." "I'm warning you." "Oh," he said mockingly. "And who exactly do you think you are to warn me?" Maya stared at him, trembling, not with fear, but with decision. She could end this right now. All it would take was one sentence, one revelation. But revealing the truth this early would hand him an escape, an opportunity to rewrite the narrative and shield himself. Letting him continue meant letting him expose his own wrongdoing fully, undeniably. "You'll find out," she said quietly. "Not good enough," Trent said, tugging her forward again. They reached the door to the security office. Trent pushed it open. "After you," he ordered. Maya stepped inside the small room, her heart pounding, her dignity battered, but her resolve sharper than ever. Trent followed, the door shutting heavily behind them, and the real interrogation began. The security room felt smaller than Maya expected. Bare walls, a single desk, 2 plastic chairs, and a humming monitor in the corner. The air was stale, like the room hadn't been aired out in weeks. Trent shut the door behind them with a heavy, final thud. "Sit," he ordered. "I'll stand," Maya replied. He smirked. "Suit yourself." He moved behind the desk and crossed his arms. "Let's make this easy. Empty your bag." "No." He leaned forward. "Did you not hear me?" "I heard you," she said, "but you still don't have probable cause." "You keep saying that," Trent replied, "but you don't get to decide what's probable." "What is your cause, then?" I adjusted my shoulder strap. "You were nervous. You approached me yelling." "That's procedure." "It's intimidation," Maya corrected. He slammed his palm on the desk. "I'm not going back and forth with you. This room is monitored. Everything in here is legal. Except the reason I'm in it," Maya said. He frowned and pointed at her tote bag. "Last chance." "No, this will only get worse for you." "It's already worse," she said quietly. He stepped around the desk, invading her space again. "Hand." "Me." "The bag." "Stop grabbing for it," Maya snapped, jerking it away. "Then give it to me voluntarily." "No." He exhaled sharply, pulling out a notebook. "Fine. We'll do this formally. State your name." "You never asked for ID before detaining me," she pointed out. "Because you were resisting," he snapped. I was asking questions. Same thing. No, she said firmly. It isn't. He threw his pen down, staring at her like she was intentionally making his job miserable. Name. She didn't move. He snatched the tote from her shoulder. Stop. Maya lunged for it. He yanked it away and dumped it onto the desk. Makeup keys, her leather folder, a water bottle, receipts. Everything scattered with loud clacks. Search is happening, he said, flipping items over carelessly. Without consent, she said. Without cause. Yeah. He grabbed a small leather folder. What's this? Work documents. Sure. He opened it without asking. Let's see leases? Agreements? What are you, a lawyer? No. He skimmed one page, then scoffed and tossed aside. Probably fake anyway. Her jaw tightened. You didn't even read them. Didn't need to. He nudged the folder farther away, uninterested. Where's the perfume? You stash it somewhere. I never entered that store. Then why'd you run? I didn't run, she said sharply. I was walking. You sped up when you saw me. I slowed down because you shouted at me. He ignored her correction, picking up her keys and inspecting the key fob. Nice car. Probably stolen, too. Her breath caught. Excuse me? You heard me. You really believe every stereotype, don't you? He raised his eyebrows. Stereotype? I'm making observations. No, Maya said. You're making assumptions. Don't start lecturing me again. You don't want me to talk because you know I'm right. He kicked the chair beside her. Sit down. No. Yes. His voice thundered. Sit. Reluctantly, Maya sat. Her legs were trembling, not from fear, but from a suffocating mix of outrage and disbelief. Trent moved back behind the desk. Let's continue. Where were you before I stopped you? Walking toward the bookstore. Why? To pick up an order. What order? A book. What book? You think that matters? It matters if you're lying. I'm not lying. He stared at her, unsatisfied with every answer simply because she gave it. The door opened suddenly. A middle-aged man with a badge reading security supervisor. Daniel stepped in. Mallory? Daniel said, brows knitted. What's going on here? Investigation, Trent replied curtly. Daniels glanced at Maya's scattered belongings. Did she agree to a search? Doesn't matter, Trent said. She's resisting. Fits a shoplifting report. Which store? The boutique near the atrium. Daniels frowned. They didn't call anything in. They told me verbally. Trent said quickly. Which employee? Trent's jaw twitched. Doesn't matter. It does, Daniels replied. Trent turned to Maya. See what you did? Now he's wasting time, too. Maya looked at Daniels instead. He approached me with no cause. Dragged me down the hallway. Searched my things without consent. Daniels looked uneasy. Mallory, we need to be careful here. I am being careful. Doesn't look like it. Daniels said quietly. Trent snapped. Do you want to take over? Go ahead. But when she bolts or pulls something. I'm not going to bolt, Maya interrupted. Daniels sighed. Mallory, maybe slow down and... Trent lifted a hand. Daniels. Out! Daniels hesitated, then reluctantly stepped back through the door. I'll be right outside. When the door shut again, Maya said softly, You're not listening to anyone. I don't need to, Trent said. I know what's happening here. No, she replied. You really don't. He scribbled on his notepad. You're being detained for further questioning. On what grounds? Suspicion. Suspicion isn't evidence. It's enough. For you, she whispered, because you decided the moment you saw me. He didn't answer. Maya looked at the scattered papers. The ones he dismissed, the ones that could have stopped this entire nightmare. She could end it now, but she didn't. Not yet. Trent was digging his own grave, and he didn't even know it. Trent's pen scratched angrily across the notepad, the sound grating in the tiny security room. Maya sat silent now, her belongings scattered across the desk like debris after a storm. Her hands rested on her lap, fingers trembling despite her efforts to stay composed. "You're delaying the inevitable," Trent muttered without looking up. "If you just admit what you took, we can wrap this up." "I didn't take anything," Maya replied, steady but exhausted. "Yeah? Then why refuse to cooperate?" "Because you're violating my rights." He scoffed. "God, you people always—" The sudden ring of the landline cut him off. A shrill, old-fashioned buzz that sliced through the tension. Trent frowned. "Who's calling this line?" Maya didn't answer. She didn't have to. The phone kept ringing. Annoyed, Trent snatched it up. "Security room." Mallory speaking. The voice on the other end was crisp, authoritative, and edged with restrained alarm. "This is Operations Director Clara Whitfield. I was informed there's an incident involving a detained shopper. I need a status update." Trent straightened, posture snapping into forced professionalism. "Yes, ma'am. I've got a non-compliant suspect who resisted inspection after a theft report. I'm processing her now." A long silence. Long enough for Maya to feel the air shift. "What is the suspect's name?" Clara asked. Trent glanced at Maya. She wouldn't provide it. "I'm asking you," Clara repeated, her tone cutting. Trent hesitated, then said, "Her name is—" "Maya Caldwell." Another pause. This one colder. This one deeper. This one dangerous for him. Then Clara's voice came through, low and chilling. "Officer Mallory, do not touch her again. I'm on my way to the room. Immediately." Trent blinked. "Excuse me?" "You heard me," Clara said. "Director Whitfield, with all due respect," Trent began, "I'm in the middle of an active investigation. I can't just—" "Step away from her, Mallory," Clara ordered. "Back away. Right now." Maya watched, heart pounding, as Trent's confidence wavered for the first time. His brows furrowed. "This is highly irregular," he muttered into the receiver. "You don't know the circumstances." "I know enough," Clara said, "and you will not engage with Miss Caldwell further until I arrive." "Miss Caldwell?" he repeated, confused. "You're talking like you know her." Another beat of silence. Then Clara's tone sharpened like a knife, sliding free of its sheath. "I do, and that's all you need to know until I get there." Trent pulled the phone from his ear, staring at it like it had malfunctioned. "She knows you?" Maya didn't answer. "You know the operations director?" Trent pressed, suspicion boiling into irritation. "Is that what this is? You're connected?" Again, she said nothing. Her silence made him uneasy. He put the phone back to his ear. "Director Whitfield, with respect, this woman is resisting detainment and—" Clara cut him off mid-sentence. "Mallory, if you continue detaining her, there will be consequences. I'm on my way. Do not touch her. Do not question her. Do not speak to her." The line went dead. Trent lowered the receiver slowly. His jaw flexed, confusion and annoyance battling for dominance. "What the hell was that?" he muttered. Maya watched him carefully. "Maybe you should listen." "Don't start," he snapped. "This doesn't change anything." But it did. Even he knew it. He paced the room twice, agitated. "Do not touch her again," he mocked under his breath. "Who does she think she is?" Maya tilted her head. "You'll find out soon." Trent turned sharply. Enough with the cryptic comments. "I don't care who you know. I follow procedure. You haven't followed any today." He ignored the accusation and resumed pacing. "People pull strings all the time," he said, like trying to convince himself. "Connections, favors, doesn't mean anything." "It means you made a mistake," Maya said softly. He glared. "I didn't." "You did." He opened his mouth to argue, but someone knocked sharply on the door. Not timid, not polite, authoritative. Trent froze. Another knock, louder this time. "Officer Mallory," Clara's voice called to the door, cool and lethal. "Open it. Now." Trent swallowed hard. Maya felt her breath catch. The moment was here. The shift had begun. He unlocked the door, and everything that followed would unravel him completely. The door swung open, and Clara Whitfield stepped inside with the force of someone who had already made up her mind. She was dressed in a charcoal blazer, her ID badge clipped neatly, her expression carved from steel. Her eyes landed on Maya first. They widened, just barely, but enough to reveal shock, frustration, and something like guilt. "Maya," Clara breathed. "Are you hurt?" Maya shook her head. "No." Clara turned sharply to Trent. "Step away from her." Trent crossed his arms. "Director Whitfield, I don't think you understand." "I understand perfectly," Clara snapped. "You detained the wrong person. Release her. Now." "I won't release a suspect until—" "She's not a suspect," Clara cut in. "And you had no grounds to stop her in the first place." Trent stiffened, color rising in his cheeks. "I had cause." "No," Clara said, voice slicing through the tension. "You had bias." The room fell painfully still. Even the humming monitor seemed to quiet. Trent scoffed, trying to recover. "With respect, that's a serious accusation." "I'm making it seriously," Clara replied. Maya remained silent, watching the confrontation unfold with a strange mix of dread and relief. This was the moment, the shift, the crack in the officer's armor. Trent cleared his throat, grasping for control. "Director, you're overreacting." She matched the description. She refused a lawful order. She is a majority owner of this mall." The words detonated in the room. Trent blinked. "What?" Clara repeated, slower this time. "Maya Caldwell is the primary investor and majority owner of this entire property." Trent stared at Maya like seeing her for the first time, really seeing her. Confusion twisted into disbelief, then something uglier, anger that didn't know where to go. "That's impossible," he muttered. "She said she was just picking up." "She doesn't need to justify being here," Clara said, "but she refused a search." "Because you demanded one without cause." Trent's voice cracked. "She resisted because you escalated." He shook his head, refusing to accept any of it. "I was following protocol." "You dragged a woman down a hallway with no evidence," Clara said sharply. "You searched her belongings without consent. You ignored witness input. You ignored security staff. You ignored every red flag." "I acted on suspicion." "You acted on prejudice," Clara fired back. The silence after her words was suffocating. Trent's breathing grew shallow. This is ridiculous. You're taking her side because she's the owner?" Clara asked coldly. Trent faltered. "No, I didn't mean—" Clara stepped closer. "Do you have any idea what you've done? Do you realize the liability you created? The reputation damage? The legal exposure?" She gestured toward Maya's discarded documents. "You literally threw aside the paperwork, proving her identity." Trent looked at the leather folder with dawning horror. "I didn't know," he said, voice low. "You didn't ask." He tried again. "Look, if she had just told me." "No," Maya finally said. Both heads turned toward her. She stood slowly, her hands trembling but her voice steady. "I don't owe you a resume to avoid harassment." Trent opened his mouth, but no words came out. Maya continued, "You treated me like a criminal the moment you saw me. Nothing I could have said would have changed that." "That's not true," Trent said weakly. "Then why didn't you believe anything I did say?" Trent swallowed hard but offered no answer. Clara turned to him, calm turning into something colder. "Officer Mallory, you are relieved of your authority in this facility until an internal review investigates your conduct." "You're removing me?" he asked, stunned. "Yes." "You don't have that power." "I do," Clara replied. "Mall security protocol grants me full operational authority, and I'm exercising it." Trent shook his head, backing up a step. "This is insane." "This is accountability," Clara corrected. The door opened again. The two mall security guards stepped in, Daniels at the front. Clara addressed them. "Escort Officer Mallory from the premises. He is not to continue duties on mall property until further notice." Trent's face burned red. "You're making a mistake. She's manipulating you." Maya's eyes narrowed. "I haven't said more than a dozen sentences to you." Trent pointed at her. She's using influence, connections, whatever this is. Whatever this is, Clara said evenly, is the result of your actions. Daniel stepped closer. Sir, we need you to come with us. Trent's fists clenched. You all think I'm the villain. No, Maya said softly. I think you made a choice. That silenced him. Daniels and the other guard waited, tension thick in the air. Finally, Trent looked at Maya with a mixture of confusion, resentment, and something bordering on fear. This isn't over, he muttered. Clara stepped in front of Maya. Yes, she said. It is. Trent didn't argue again. He let the guards escort him out. The security room door closed behind them, and for the first time since the incident began, Maya exhaled, not in relief, not in victory, but in exhaustion so deep it felt like collapse. When Maya stepped out of the back hallway, the brightness of the mall hit her like a wave. She blinked, adjusting, her breath catching at the sight that greeted her. The crowd was still there. Dozens of shoppers had clustered in the atrium, some whispering, some wide-eyed, some clutching shopping bags against their chests like shields. A few still held their phones cautiously raised. The tension hadn't faded. It had simply thickened into curiosity and rumor. Clara walked beside Maya, voice low. We'll clear this quickly. Maya nodded, though her stomach twisted. She hated attention, hated being watched like an unfolding scandal. A ripple moved through the crowd. That's her, someone whispered. Is she in trouble? No, I think the officer was. Look, the director's with her. Clara raised her hands. Everyone, please step back. Give her space. The crowd parted slowly, not fully, but enough to form a pressured walkway. People stared with open fascination. Some sympathetic, others unsure, a few with lingering suspicion. Maya felt her heart rise into her throat. She kept her eyes forward. A woman stepped forward, middle-aged, nervous. Ma'am, I'm sorry for earlier. I didn't know what was happening. I thought maybe. Maya offered faint nod. It's okay. But it wasn't. The shame clung like a film on her skin. Clara cleared her throat. Everyone, I need to address what just happened. Phones lifted immediately. Clara didn't flinch. An incident occurred involving Ms. Maya Caldwell. I am here to state clearly, publicly, and without ambiguity, Ms. Caldwell is not a suspect, was not involved in any theft, and was wrongfully detained. A shockwave moved through the crowd. What? No way. She didn't do anything? That officer dragged her down the hallway. Clara continued, voice firm. Furthermore, Ms. Caldwell is not merely a shopper. She is the primary investor and majority owner of this mall. Gasps erupted. A teenager dropped his drink. A mother covered her mouth. Someone muttered, Owner? She owns this place. The energy shifted instantly. Suspicion evaporated. Shame replaced it. One man approached hesitantly. Ma'am, I'm really sorry. I recorded earlier. I thought maybe you were. Maya raised a hand gently. You don't have to explain. I do, he said, swallowing. I didn't step in. I should have said something. Maya didn't have the heart to respond, so she simply nodded. A young woman stepped closer. I saw what he did. It wasn't right. Not at all. Maya whispered, thank you. Clara placed a steadying hand on her shoulder. Let's get you somewhere quiet. But before they could move, more whispers surfaced near the stairs. Is that the officer? He's coming out. He looks pissed. Maya glanced over her shoulder. Officer Trent Mallory emerged from the hallway, flanked by the two guards. His face was tight with humiliation and fury. When the crowd noticed him, the reaction was immediate. Everywhere he walked, people stepped back. A teenage boy shouted, Hey, we saw what you did. Trent glared. Back off, kid. A woman near the railing spoke up, hand shaking. You screamed at her. You grabbed her. And for what? Adjusting a bag. That's not how it happened, Trent snapped. Another voice cut in. Yeah, because we all saw it. Unprofessional. Racist. Should lose his badge. The words piled up, sharp and raw. Trent's jaw tightened. I was doing my job. No, someone said loudly. You were abusing it. He opened his mouth to respond, but Clara stepped forward. Officer Mallory, she said, voice like ice, you need to leave the property. Now. Trent puffed his chest. I'm not taking orders from. But another voice interrupted. Officer Mallory? Two uniformed individuals approached. Badges reading Internal Police Review Unit. Civic investigators. The crowd gasped again. One of them flipped open a folder. We need to speak with you. Immediately. Trent's face drained. This is ridiculous. Sir, the investigator said firmly, let's go. The guards beside him stepped back, letting the new authorities take over. Trent's eyes darted to Maya, not apologetic, not even remorseful, just stunned, confused, angry at the world suddenly tilting. This isn't over, he murmured to himself. But this time nobody listened. He was escorted away, down the same hallway he dragged Maya through minutes earlier, and the crowd watched him go. Some relieved, some outraged, some ashamed. Maya exhaled slowly. The judgment in the air was no longer directed at her, but the weight of everything still pressed deep into her chest. Clara touched her elbow gently. Let's take you upstairs. Maya nodded, and together they walked through the parted crowd. This time not under suspicion, but under the heavy, complicated gaze of a public witnessing justice begin to turn. Maya sat in her office overlooking the mall's glass atrium, the same atrium where everything had spiraled hours earlier. Afternoon light spilled across her desk, warm but exhausting. Her reflection in the window looked strained, shoulders tight, eyes dim. She hadn't cried, not yet, but the pressure behind her eyes felt like a dam ready to crack. Clara stood near the door, arms folded. Social media already has videos. They're spreading fast. Maya pressed her fingers against her temples. How bad? Clara hesitated. Bad for him, not for you. That doesn't make me feel better, Maya murmured. Silence stretched. Outside the window, shoppers moved as if nothing had happened. Bags swinging, kids laughing, security guards chatting. Life resumed instantly. She felt disconnected from it, like she was watching from behind thick glass. Clara cleared her throat. Internal Review took Officer Mallory away for questioning. They'll call you soon to give a statement. Maya closed her eyes. Of course they will. You don't have to answer right away. I know, but it might help. I know, Clara. The sharpness in her voice surprised them both. Clara softened. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to push. Maya leaned back in her chair, staring at the ceiling. You didn't push. Today did. Clara stepped closer. Maya, what he did was never your fault. I know that logically, Maya said. Emotionally, she exhaled heavily. It still feels like I'm carrying something heavy he dropped on me. Clara pulled up a chair and sat beside her. Can I tell you something? When they said a woman was being dragged into the back hall, I didn't even consider it might be you. Not because I think you're immune to racism, but because I never imagined it would happen in your own mall. Maya let out a brittle laugh. That's the thing. Racism doesn't skip you just because you own property, or dress a certain way, or speak a certain way. It doesn't care about credentials. Clara nodded, eyes somber. I'm truly sorry. A knock sounded on the office door. Maya straightened as her younger sister, Layla, walked in. She wore scrubs from her nursing shift, hair tied back, eyes filled with worry. Maya, are you okay? Layla hurried to her. Maya forced a small smile. I'm fine. No, you're not. Layla cupped her face gently. I saw the videos. Maya's throat tightened. Oh, they're everywhere. People are shocked, furious. Layla looked over Maya's shoulder at Clara. What's being done about him? Clara answered. Internal Review is questioning him. They have his past complaints. Past complaints? Layla repeated sharply. So this wasn't the first time? Clara swallowed. No, but this time is different. There's evidence. Witnesses. Layla frowned. That doesn't comfort me. Maya rubbed her temples again. I don't know what to do next. Layla sat beside her. You don't have to decide right now. But I do, Maya said quietly. People are already asking what action I'm taking. Reporters called. Lawyers called. Even some store owners reached out. And what do you want to do? Clara asked gently. Maya stared at her palms. I want accountability. But I don't want to be consumed by this. I don't want to live in courtrooms and news cycles. Layla put a hand on hers. You don't know the world, your trauma. I know, Maya said, but I also can't let this slide. Clara nodded. Then find a middle path. What does that even look like? Not vengeance, Clara said softly, but consequence. Maya looked up, meeting her sister's eyes. Do you think pressing charges is right? I think, Layla said carefully, that if you stay silent, he'll do it again to someone without power, without witnesses, without you to make them listen. The truth stung. Maya whispered, I'm tired. I know, Layla said, but your voice holds weight, and right now that matters. Maya leaned back, letting her head rest against the chair. Internal review will ask for my statement. Clara nodded. Yes. And if I give it, everything becomes official. Yes. And if I don't, he gets to walk away. Clara didn't answer, and she didn't have to. Maya closed her eyes. The humiliation still clung to her. The memory of his grip, his accusations, his certainty that her humanity was negotiable. She inhaled deeply. I'll give the statement, Maya said finally, but on my terms, in a measured way. I want systemic change, not just punishment. Layla squeezed her hand, proud. That's the Maya I know. A soft knock interrupted them again, this time from a staff member holding a tablet. Ms. Caldwell, internal review is on call. They'd like to speak with you. Maya nodded slowly. Tell them, she said, voice steadier than she felt. I'm ready. Maya stood by the tall windows of the conference room, the city skyline dimming into early evening. The phone call with internal review had ended minutes ago, but its weight remained on her chest. She watched headlights blur across the parking lot. Each streak of light a small reminder that life outside kept moving, even when hers felt paused. Clara entered quietly. How did it go? Maya didn't turn. They asked everything, step by step, detail by detail. She exhaled shakily. I didn't realize how exhausting truth could feel. Clara nodded sympathetically. Did they tell you the next steps? Mallory suspended, Maya said, pending investigation. Clara sat across from her. That's a start. It doesn't feel like one, Maya murmured. It feels like a pause, a very fragile one. A soft knock came at the door. Layla stepped in, carrying 2 cups of tea. Chamomile, she said. You need it. Maya accepted the cup, inhaling the calming steam. Thank you. Layla sat beside her. So, what now? Maya stared into her tea before answering. They asked if I wanted to press charges. Officially. She looked up. I didn't say yes. I didn't say no. Clara folded her hands. You don't have to rush that decision. But it feels like everyone expects me to. Maya paused. If I push too hard, I become a headline. If I don't push enough, I become an example of silence. Layla leaned closer. What do you want, Maya? Without thinking about the world. Just you. Maya hesitated. I want change. Real change. Not just firing him. Not just a statement. Her voice strengthened. I want this mall, my mall, to be a place where people don't fear being profiled. Clara nodded slowly. Then maybe it's time to use your position. How? Maya asked. Policies, Clara said. Training. Oversight committees. Mandatory bias education for every security officer, every manager, every tenant owner. She took a breath. You can reshape the entire culture here. Layla added, and pressing charges doesn't have to be about revenge. It can be about accountability. A step toward that culture. Maya considered their words. Heartbeat slowing as clarity formed. She set her tea down. I'll move forward legally, but I want to do it in a measured way. Not out of anger. Not out of spectacle. Clara smiled softly. I'll support whatever path you choose. What about the mall executives? Layla asked. Maya sighed. They called earlier. Nervous, apologetic, terrified of bad press. She gave a faint, humorless laugh. But they're listening now. And they should be, Layla said firmly. You built this place. Maya nodded. Tomorrow I'll meet with them. I'll propose policy changes, oversight, training, a full restructuring of security protocols. Layla's eyes brightened. Now that sounds like Maya Caldwell. Maya smiled, small but real, and as for Mallory, I'll cooperate with internal review. Let the process work. Clara stood. That alone will have consequences. Maya looked out the window again. The sky had deepened into indigo, the world settling into night. I don't want to destroy him, she said quietly. I just want to prevent him from destroying someone else. Layla touched her arm. And that's what makes you powerful. Maya inhaled deeply, the weight in her chest lifting. Just a little. Tomorrow, she whispered, we start making changes. And for the first time that day, she felt a faint flicker of control returning to her life. The mediation room was neutral by design. Soft beige walls, round table, comfortable chairs, to make conflict feel less sharp. But nothing could soften the tension humming beneath Maya's skin. She sat beside her attorney, hands clasped tightly in her lap, breathing slow and controlled. The door opened. Officer Trent Mallory stepped in. He looked different, smaller, hair disheveled, face tight with sleeplessness. But his eyes, still stubborn, still searching for something to blame, locked onto Maya instantly. He sat across from her. Not a word. The mediator, an older man with calm eyes, cleared his throat. Thank you all for coming. Today isn't about blame or legal arguments. It's about understanding harm, acknowledging facts, and creating space for honesty. Trent scoffed softly. Sure, honesty. Maya didn't react. She wouldn't give him that satisfaction. The mediator continued. Ms. Caldwell, would you like to begin? Maya inhaled slowly. No, I'd like him to start. Trent straightened, as if expecting that moment. Fine, he said. Let's make this simple. I acted on information. I acted on suspicion. I acted the way any officer would. Maya tilted her head. Any officer? Yes, Trent said sharply. We deal with noncompliance all the time. People refusing orders. People hiding things. People lying. I wasn't lying, Maya replied. You refused inspection. Because you had no cause. Trent leaned forward. If I waited for absolute proof every time, nothing would get done. Maya's voice cooled. So you jumped accusations instead? I make calls, he snapped. That's what I do. The mediator raised a hand gently. Officer Mallory, we're here to understand your perspective, but also the impact of your decisions. Trent exhaled sharply, rubbing his forehead. Look, maybe I came in too strong, but I didn't know who she was. Would it have mattered? Maya asked quietly. He hesitated. Of course it would have. Why? She asked. Would a mall owner deserve better treatment than a regular shopper? Trent froze. Maya leaned in. What if I wasn't the owner? What if I was just a woman buying a book? Would the way you handle me still be protocol to you? Trent didn't answer. The mediator spoke softly. Officer Mallory, Ms. Caldwell is asking if your actions were justified regardless of her status. Trent's jaw moved, but the words came slow. I don't know. Maya nodded. That's the first honest thing you've said today. He glared at her, but the fight behind it seemed weaker. You're twisting everything. I wasn't targeting you. Maya's voice was steady. You accused me the moment you saw me. You dragged me down a hallway. You belittled my words. You threw aside documents that would have told you everything. She paused. Not because of evidence. Because of bias. Trent's expression tightened, guilt flickering across it before he masked it. I wasn't trying to. Hurt me? Maya said. You did. The room went quiet. Maya continued, softer now. I spent hours replaying what happened, trying to understand what I could have done differently. But the truth is, nothing would have changed your reaction. Not my clothes. Not my calm. Not my words. Trent's voice cracked. So you think I'm some kind of monster? No, Maya said. I think you're a man who made choices without recognizing your own prejudice. And that's dangerous. He swallowed hard, staring down at the table. The mediator looked at Trent gently. Acknowledging harm is the first step toward accountability. Trent didn't look up. I didn't realize. He shook his head. I thought I was doing my job. Your job, Maya said quietly, should never involve stripping someone of dignity. Silence settled again. Heavy, honest. Trent didn't apologize, not fully, but the wall he'd held up so tightly began to crumble, the truth seeping through cracks he could no longer deny. The mediator ended the session with calm words. Maya stood. Trent didn't meet her eyes as she walked out. He didn't have the courage to, and that silence spoke louder than any apology ever could. The mall felt different the next week. Quieter, steadier, like a place holding its breath after a storm. Maya walked through the atrium early in the morning before the rush began. Sunlight streamed through the skylights, warm and gentle, illuminating the space where everything had fallen apart and been rebuilt. Clara joined her, holding a folder. The final report is out. Maya nodded. I figured. Clara handed her the folder, but didn't open it. You should hear it from me first. Officer Mallory was terminated. His prior complaints, paired with the footage and witness accounts, it was decisive. Maya exhaled slowly. Relief wasn't the word she felt. More like release, a tension unclenching. Thank you for telling me, she said. Clara hesitated. Are you all right? I don't know, Maya admitted, but I'm getting there. They walked together toward the escalators. Workers were preparing store displays, windows glowing with new promotions. Life had resumed, but something had changed, quietly, profoundly. Maya had spent the past week crafting proposals, meeting with executives, structuring reforms. Today, they would be finalized. For the first time, the power she held over the mall felt purposeful, not just professional. They reached her new initiatives display in the center atrium, a small stand announcing Community Equity Program scholarships, vendor grants, bias training initiatives Maya Caldwell Foundation. Clara stepped aside, letting Maya take in sight. You did this, she said softly. Maya's eyes lingered on the sign. I didn't want my story to be about fear, she whispered. I wanted it to become something better. And it has, Clara replied. A few early shoppers walked in. One woman recognized Maya, offering a warm, encouraging smile. A man nearby nodded respectfully, not gawking, not pitying, just acknowledging. Maya felt the weight on her chest loosen. As she walked toward the security station, she saw a new officer assisting a young black teenager with a dropped shopping bag. The officer knelt, helping the boy gather his things with a calm, patient smile. You okay, buddy? He asked. Yeah, the teen said, grinning shyly. The exchange was simple, quiet, ordinary, but to Maya it was everything. She stopped for a moment, watching the boy walk away safely. No fear in his eyes. That's what this place should have always been, she murmured. Clara nodded beside her. And now it can be. Maya turned back toward the mall office where a full day of meetings awaited her. Policy changes to finalize, training schedules to implement, committees to launch. The work was long, necessary, and it was only beginning. But for the first time in days, she felt something warm settle into her chest. Not triumph, not vindication. Something gentler. Hope. As Maya walked away from the atrium, she traced her fingers along the railing, feeling the smooth metal, grounding herself in the present. The mall she owned, the mall she rebuilt, the mall that had nearly broken her, was transforming. She paused once more and whispered, not to anyone else, but to herself, we move forward. Then she stepped into the day, carrying strength shaped by struggle, steady, quiet, unshakable.